Bro, can we talk about how evil this nigga was? All this talk about the most evil villain of all time. Why isn't he in every conversation? There's three things that make a villain: money, power, and motive. This little nigga only needed one. For those of you who either A, live under a rock, B, never had a childhood, or C, simply have zero taste in cinema, after saving a cat and killing at least 3 armed men with a tree, Mr. Incredible on his way to stop a bank robbery is interrupted by a kid that broke into his car. My fault. Did I say a kid? I meant
Incrediboy!
The #1 Mr. Incredible Glazer. Or there was Elastigirl. There was
Incrediboy!
This kid pleads to Mr. Incredible how much he loves him and how much he aspires to be like him. Bro, this is a justifiable crash out. And you would have thought that's it. Never meet your heroes, period. I could never imagine being folded back savage by my favorite person and ever speaking to them again. But nah, this little nigga spins back in the dead of night while Mr. Incredible tries to stop a bank robbery. Yo, where is this nigga's parents, yo? He attempts to convince Mr. Incredible that even though he doesn't have powers and even though he's just a kid, he has the ingenuity and willpower to be just as great. Just like him. Then the robber puts a bomb on him. The robber puts a bomb on this 10-year-old kid. Yo, this is a kid's movie, bro. In conclusion to the robber getting away, Mr. Incredible saves him, stops a train, charging directly at him. Insane feat. Mr. Incredible proceeds to give his #1 fan, who he already dished before for some away to the cops, instead of maybe sending him off with an inspirational message or even moderately apologetic tone for all he's been through within these past 3 hours. He instead calls him names and then sends him home by getting arrested. It is no surprise why he would hate Mr. Incredible, but it doesn't just stop there. This kid from the age of 10 creates a plan so insanely evil, I'm shocked it even made it past Disney's drawing board. His plan was to create machinery so powerful that it would absolutely eliminate any super or government official that would attempt to stop it. He does this by making prototypes of this huge AI super killing robot that collects data on every threat it encounters until that threat is eliminated. And the way he collects this data is by sending the robots to massacre each super he can find. And if they manage to defeat that robot within an inch of their lives, he makes another one that they can't beat using the info they used when and if they did. It's sinister, bro. Guaranteed death. And through this process, it would evidently make him the only person on Earth who knows how to stop it, making himself the greatest and only superhero. This really said, if I can't be super, nobody can. Due to how much the world didn't need heroes and the plenty of problems they caused, evidently the government covered up all that supers had done and forced all heroes to retire, making it illegal to be a superhero. He executes this plan to perfection over the course of 15 years. Do you know the grudge you have to hold to do this for 15 consecutive years? After superheroes were banned, Mr. Incredible was still doing hero work illegally. And when Syndrome catches wind of this and his location, he has a mistress FaceTime him and tell him that he can triple his cheese and if he does hero work on this remote island. Obviously he folds because prior to this he was so depressed not being able to be a super that he chokes and murders his boss by throwing him through like 3 walls. Yo, how is this movie for children, bro? He gets to the island and his first assignment is to defeat one of those AI robots that learn exactly what its opponent is capable of and destroy it. And every time I get to this part in this movie, it really fucks with me because this isn't hidden information. This is not information Mr. Incredible doesn't know. Mr. Incredible is insatiably slow for this, agreeing to go to an island nowhere near home and controlled by somebody other than the US government, then voluntarily gets seduced and fights a robot made for killing like him. Because be real, do you think a robot built like this is getting stopped by anybody?
Hell no.
They literally had to get Mr. Incredible to stop it. Just don't think, bro. Anyways, once he defeats it, Syndrome then has all that he needs to make a robot so powerful that he can't win. In doing so, after his 15-year-long wait, he finally gets his revenge on Mr. Incredible. He exchanged 15 dedicated years of work for a 12-second monologue. He then eventually drowns him, bombs him, and then sends a tracker in the water just to make sure he's cooked. Then proceeds with his plan. Surprise, surprise, Mr. Incredible is just fine. Instead of going home to his super abled, loving family and his fine wife he's been lying to for months, he goes back to Syndrome's lair, kills like 4 dudes, finds the catalog of supers Syndrome's murdered over the years for this plan, and then obviously gets caught. Then Syndrome, figuring out that he survived, proceeded to torture him while placing him in the crucifixion position. What the f is this movie, bro? And Pete, bro, he then sends missiles to murder his family that came to rescue him.
After all that,
he says the most cruel line after murdering his family.
We have a confirmed hit. Target was destroyed.
You'll get over it.
This nigga just had his whole family blown up, and all he had to say was,
hey, yo, hey, niggas get shot every day, B. You be aight, nigga. You tough, right?
Mr. Incredible then grabs this woman and threatens to murder her. And this says,
Now go ahead.
literally gambled this lady's life, and for what reason, bro? Surprise, surprise, his family's alive. The mistress switches sides because obviously, then they're all one big happy super family again, till you realize that they're on a remote island controlled by a psychopath. He catches all of them and crucifies them. He's genuinely torturing children. What the f? Obviously, plot wins and they find a way out while Syndrome enacts his plan. He terrorizes the city and has people run in fear, then kills innocent people just so he can save the ones that survive. This is pure evil. What makes him psychologically evil as hell is that he's completely aware of this. He named himself Syndrome simply for the reason that he's shadowing the term hero syndrome, which is a psychological phenomenon that causes people to strive to be the hero in a situation that inconvenience or harm others so they can take credit for fixing them later. This can include arson or attempted murder. This nigga has done both in a kids movie. He's got it. And it doesn't end here. Nah. After he loses to plot, he then steals Mr. Incredible's baby and attempts to raise him as his own. All this because Mr. Incredible said no. Hey man, treat people how you want to be treated, because you never know when you might give someone the right reason to be a real villain.